Hey garden friends, today I am going to take on a quick run on how I had to hurry through and prune my roses and some clematis before the big storm hit. And it did. This is after the storm, and I'm so glad I did what I did because the damage to my roses would have been very great because we got 8 feet of snow. And that's no lie. Right now we have still about 6 feet sitting on the ground. Some has melted, and this week we're supposed to get heavy, warm rains, which will melt the rest, but cause flooding in the valley, which is really kind of sad, but that's where it's at. Now, if I hadn't gone through and pruned my roses, the damage would have been much greater than it already had been this winter. So I'm so glad I got it done. Now it's kind of rough around the edges because I was in a super hurry, but my roses will be fine. I didn't have any certain angle or anything. It just needed to get done quickly. Roses are shrubs. They will come back beautifully. And I just wanted to show you that you really don't have to fret the pruning of your roses, especially shrub roses. A lot of the rules for pruning roses that you see are made for hybrid teas that people were going to show. So other than that, pruning is pretty straightforward. Anyway, so on to my hurry through before the storm to prune my roses and a couple of clematis. All right, let's get going. These are some of my roses that I have in barrels up here in the front garden. And I have to do a hard prune today because this week we are going to get more snow and I want it done. This is the end of February and I want to get it done while they're still dormant. And who knows when I'll be able to get to them again. I have roses also in these here and around the side. The ones around the side garden, which is around there, those ones are already budding out, and they're climbers, so I will do those a little bit differently, but they'll get pruned too. These are my Tess d'Orbeauville climbers, and I'm going to give them a light prune. I'm not going to prune them all the way back hard like I would do my regular shrub roses. Over here is, oh, forgive my shadow, let me turn it a little bit. Ooh, hit some ice, sorry. This is my Abraham Darby rose, and it will get a pretty good prune back right now. And this one is another climber, and and you can see really quick, if I get up there close, you can see the buds. Maybe you can't, maybe it's not focusing, I don't know. The buds on it, but that's okay. We'll give this one a light prune. This is Dreamweaver. It is a great climber, reblooms constantly, and I may take some cuttings today to root. I love in that sun. The sun is especially warm today. It's unbelievable that it's going to drop so much. This is my Zephrine drone, and it definitely needs cleaning up out here. So that's what I'll be doing. Here is my Crown Princess Margaretta. I did not get the climbing version. This is the shrub, but here it throws out such long canes that I'm tying it up to the porch post so that it climbs. So that one will also get a light prune. I won't prune it down as hard as I do the others that I'm keeping as shrubs. And I will most likely, this is a Clematis. This is Warsaw Nike. Group 3. I will also prune this down hard today. So I got a lot to get done. I got to get moving before I lose the warm sun. And my poor Jubilee celebration rose, look at that. And that damage is from the heavy snows as well. So time to get the loppers and pruners, and then I'll show you when it's done. There is no science to this. I just go in and prune hard. I'll prune down to about 18 inches. Sometimes you can even prune further down, but that's my plan for today. So you can see how dramatically I've cut back a lot of growth already. And now I'm going to tackle these smaller, spindly little canes because they're weak. And we want the other growth, the strong growth, to prevail. So we will cut these out. I'll cut these out with some little little nippers. There. I know it's a pretty dramatic prune back, but it's what it needed. And I may not have needed to do it this hard if I had gotten to it in the fall, because so many wouldn't have broken. But you can see there's still some dead ones I need to get in there and prune out, dead canes. And this will be all ready for spring. It'll get buried with the snow. It's still dormant. There's a little buds popping, but it'll just go back into dormancy, full dormancy with the cold. And then come spring, when it warms up, I will get some beautiful blooms. I did not prune the canes in any direction, like at a slant or whatever. I have found that's really not necessary. And I've been growing roses for 40 plus years. So it's not as hard as many make it out to be. And these are shrub roses, and you can prune them like any shrub. There's no particular science to it. And that one is going to be next. Just so you know, this is Hyde Hall. This is 3 Hyde Hall David Austin roses in this container. And now to tackle it. All right, I decided not to be so lazy and to actually show you how I do it. Now this is my Jubilee Celebration rose. And since we are supposed to get, now they're saying 3 feet of snow in the next week, I got to get out here and get all these pruned up, all these roses. So this is a shrub rose, and I'm not going to be able to pull away the little support I had around it, so I'm going to have to work around it, and I'm just going to cut this back to less than a foot or lower. And you can see how it got pulled over severely. And that one was dead underneath there. So, or the branch was, or the cane. Now this one, that one's got a pretty much. So we'll see. I'm just cutting it off. I'm not making the cut slanted, nothing. That's all extra work. That is not necessary. Let me get around it and let me see if I can get to it. Okay, this one. And this one. Okay, I think I got it all done, and now maybe I can pull this away. And these will all go to the burn pile. Oh, I got the tie on it still. All right. So underneath here was some spindly pieces that can also, ouch, be cut back. Oh yeah, there's some that are bent way over that I didn't see. But we'll get all these spindly pieces cut back too. And now it's ready for the big snowstorm. And it's been pruned. But see, this is underneath the snow and I can't get it up. So behind me, I have my love song rose, which I will cut back. But it's buried beneath all the winter protection I put on it, which was just chicken litter from the pen. Okay, I'm going to turn you around and show you how I'm going to do the climbing rose. This is my Zephyrine drone climbing rose. There's another pink rose beside it on the other side of the obelisk. But I'm going to move that rose. But both of them can get a good prune. Excuse me. All right, like here, this is a busted piece that's coming off for certain. Yeah, these spindly pieces can come off. And just weaving different things in and out of the different limbs. Follow it up. Take off any leaves. Nothing too precious about it. It's got new growth all along there. So this can be woven back in here. I don't have to do too much to this one. As far as cutting, I could cut it all the way back, but with climbers that's not necessary. You cut out anything that looks dead, diseased, needs some work. Okay, there is a clematis down here at the base that you can't see, and I'm just going to cut it down to about 6 inches. It is a type 3, which is this, the Warsaw Nike. It is a Warsaw Nike. Let me see if this other one is part of the Zephyrine drone. I'm down here at the base and taking off some spindly pieces just to see what's going on. And these other ones I'll just cut back a little bit. Just clean it up a little bit and see what's going on here. And wind any around that I feel that they need to be inside to climb around. And that will work just fine and dandy. And that's about it for, I can cut off some of the laterals and it'll put out new ones. I'm in a hurry today, so I'm not being too precious, that's why. Okay, these can go inside the obelisk. People also call them tutors, but that's basically it's just an obelisk. Now here's the other rows. Oh, yeah, see here's these ones have fallen over. And these laterals can come off. And all these leaves. I'm not going to worry about cleaning leaves up right now. Because I don't have time. I've got too many roses to get through before the big storm hits. So a lot of these can be cleaned up once the sunshine returns. So I'm just going to weave these around. Now the more that are lateral or at a 90-degree angle, 45-degree angle, whatever it is, the more blooms you'll get. So this is another one, another piece. I'll cut off the tip and bring it on around. My cutters were not opening, that's what it was. Okay, those I'm just going to cut back. It will bloom beautifully, no worries about it. That was super thin and spindly. This is a salvia over here that I need to just cut back. I never did. As I said before, we got early snow, so a lot of things I would have cut off or cut back I would have done in the fall, but I didn't get to. So I think I have plenty left on here to continue to grow and be nice and full. And I've got one that's going behind the lattice. I don't want it behind the lattice, so I'm going to cut it off. Cut that off way down at the base. This one's looking kind of old and gnarly. And it will send up new shoots from the base too. So there's the Zephyrine drone rose. And now let's go to this one here. Let me back up a little bit. This one is my Crown Princess Margaretta. And I don't particularly love it in this spot because it really gets faded out, but it does well here. Okay, that one's busted, so I'm going to cut that off. I mean, it does bloom and bloom, and it seems to, this is really a shrub rose. It wasn't meant to be a climber, but in this spot, it puts out these long canes, so I'm just letting it grow as a climber, cutting off all the old buds, or old flowers, I should say, not buds. Leaves. Okay. I had cut it way back last year because we were getting this painted. This part didn't get painted yet, but I'm just going to look through for canes that are busted, damaged, crossing. This one crosses, so I'm going to cut that one out. This one crosses. It will help too to cut these leaves out so I know. what's what. And this Clematis. So this is another Warsaw Nike, and it just blooms so crazy gorgeous every year. And I'll point you down and you can see the base of it, how many thick canes it has coming up. I know, you're thinking I need to be more precise, right? Well, that's a big joke, you don't. Okay. Another salvia. It needs to be cut back. Hopefully my head's not totally in the way. There's a big cane there that needs to be cut out. I don't know if you're down low enough, but it's just a dead one down at the base, and I'll cut it real close. Well, it snapped right off. Oh, it looks like my salvia reseeded. I got little seedlings coming up here, which is kind of neat. Okay, that one crosses, so I can take that one off. All right, you see down there at the bottom? And you'll see all the growth going all the way up. Type 3 blooms on new wood. So our new growth, I'm talking about the Clematis now, not the rose. So this will just get taken out. I'm pulling a weed here. I'll go feed that to the chickens. They will love it. And this will get cut down to 6-8 inches. And pull it out. Pull it out. Don't mind me cutting the rose while I'm down here, so I'm more than needed taken care of. All right. That's one thing I love about the Type 3 Clematis is the ease of pruning it. You just whack it back. Though I do have Type 2s as well, pruning Type 2s. And sometimes I cut them all the way back like this, and sometimes I will do it in the thirds so that I get earlier blooms. So that means I get more blooms here when I do it that way. So pretty much got this pruned back. And I'll finish cutting it off of this lattice without pulling it out. I have different pieces of wire kind of holding it to the lattice. Gotta be careful I don't hit that so I don't dull my blades of my little pruners, nippers. Okay. So here's the wire here. Oops, I don't want to pull it all the way off. Why I have that is because I need to hold it up towards the lattice. So that, my friends, is the quick version of pruning back roses and climber roses and a Clematis before a storm. But so I wanted to do the roses because they still are mostly dormant. Some of them are starting to bud. And this next storm is supposed to be a doozy in 3 feet, and it would do more damage to roses that I have around here. I'm looking around as I speak to you to see what else I need to do in a hurry while I can still do it without being out here in the snow. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.